I'd like to call the meeting to order of January 25th for the Oconee Planning Commission. Our first order of business is invocation by our
Pray with me if you like. Our good Father, good evening. Take some time to relax, go into your presence and get cleared from the day and the activities and keep us busy and running around so we can focus on what we're here about. Receive some wisdom and some guidance, some direction from you to do good work, making an impact on this county in a good way that is loving to our neighbors, it's helpful to the citizens, and just really that we carry out the jobs that we each have to do properly. Be quick to listen and slow to speak. Really, obviously, have to be candid with you that this would be a good, efficient meeting, and that we would not waste time, but that we would not waste words, but that we would be concise and do your business. In your name I pray. Amen.
allegiance. Brad, would you like to lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have approval of the minutes. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes for last meeting?
So move.
Second. Second. All right, any discussion?
Nope.
Okay. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, now we have public comment. Do we have anyone?
No, sir.
Okay. Staff update.
Staff update is, y'all are invited to the 150th celebration on Monday evening. It'll be here this coming Monday for a meeting to kick off the celebration. Can't pronounce it. Yeah, that's the big thing. Also, the vegetative buffer ordinance that we sent up last month ago or so is already past second reading, so I think there's a third reading left for it. And I believe the removal of commercial setbacks passed the first reading as well. I don't think anything passed altogether. So there's your update.
Okay. All right, number 7 is a discussion on February meeting schedule. We have a conflict on the second meeting. Is on the 19th, I think, and that is
President's Day.
President's Day. So we need to move that to another date. Does anyone have a date that they're available? Maybe the 22nd, that Thursday afterwards, if everybody would be available for that.
What's PRT on that?
Public recreation,
Parks Recreation.
Parks Recreation, and that's at noon now. Yeah. That red box is just there because that was the day I accessed the map and I couldn't to turn off. That's the only reason why it's red box is there.
Thursday, 22nd, sounds like a winner. Yeah.
Do we have any pressing business that we have to have 2 meetings that month?
Oh, that's up to you, ma'am, or y'all.
That would also be the date we get the last portion of our comprehensive plan too, on that date. Or not in the last part, but I mean the part to review it and send it to council, right? Possibly.
Most likely you'd be able to have the complete version of the comprehensive plan review that you all have looked at in portions, and you'll have the final book in front of you, possibly by that second meeting or whatever the next meeting would be after that.
If we had a meeting on the 22nd, would it allow us to get it before council on the meeting that they would have on the 12th of March? Is that correct?
I believe that should be fine, if the 22nd should get enough time for
That's
the,
February,
this is the February, so if we
so
were.
we're meeting on March sixth.
Okay, would that give you enough time to have it ready by March 6th?
Yeah, because I will have to have it on the 23rd, to the clerk to council, so yeah. Good with y'all, I can get it to her and get it on the agenda.
Yeah, I'll get everything, I'm working on this week and next week cleaning up, cause like all the fonts are different, all the headers are different, things like that, so I'm just doing the basic cleanup on it right now. I just got the priority investment element, not enough time to give it to y'all for this meeting.
And if I understand, when we get that done, then we will actually start the redoing process, right?
Correct.
For the-
I contacted, just to kind of see how much it would cost for an outside consultant to come do the comprehensive plan update. I haven't gotten any numbers back yet, but that's just something else I was looking at as well. For like the land use element, things like that, that may require some outside assistance. But yeah, we're just kind of exploring all the options at this point. But yeah, we'll begin the 2020 update as soon as it's possible to do, because things take some time. And it will be very public meeting intensive.
Well, I think we keep doing them every 2 weeks so we don't lose our momentum, because if we take a month off, we're gonna lose our momentum, so.
I would
Make
tend
the
to
motion,
agree with that.
or I don't know, do we do
I'm
a
good with
motion
the
for the 22nd or 22nd?
Yes.
Make the motion for 22nd.
How's your meeting with the other group you've got?
Well, it'll be another 3-meeting day for me, but that's fine, I'm here, I'm good. Yes,
Okay.
sir. May not be thinking real clearly, but I'm good.
Can you make it in, Ms. Louster?
I don't know at this time,
But possibly,
possibly.
okay. So do we need a motion?
You've got a motion. Mr. Kisker made a motion
Need
for
a
the
second.
22nd.
I'll second.
All right, any further discussion? All right, all those in favor of the 22nd of February for our second meeting in February, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
And I'll keep that in the newspaper probably for tax day. To have it out there, official record.
All right. Number 8 is discussion of traffic research. Mr. Adam?
Alright, so as instructed by y'all, I did a traffic research. I got to thank Lisa Simmering on GIS and Carl Addis from our coroner's office and, Council Engineer from the state for the numbers. So I kind of broke down the 20 pages I sent you into a quick little PowerPoint. There've been over 400 dead since '93, 81 dead in the last 6 years, and over 3,000 people injured in the last 6 years on our roadways. That's all numbers from the Department of Public Safety, as compiled by Troop 3 from the South Carolina Department of Pagers. Top reason for fatality, DUI and driving too fast for road conditions. Those are the number 2 killers, make up well over 50% of the total deaths in the county. And I think those are preventable, positive things that we can work on preventing. Top reason for non-fatal collisions, driving too fast and failure to yield right away. Not really surprised, it's probably pretty common throughout the country, the top 2 reasons for collisions. 2012-2017 was the data set that I got, it was about 8,000 collisions, and I didn't want to go too much further back because the data started to degrade over time. So the most fatal highway is Highway 11, there's also the longest highway, so that kind of has to be taken into account. The most injurious highway for people I go to the hospital for were 76123. Shouldn't be a really big surprise, it's probably the most highly trafficked corridor. And most collisions, once again, 76123. These maps, every red dot there is a death on our roadways in the last 6 years. They're spread out all over the place with concentrations around the city, which after some research by the National Highway Traffic Safety Association, that most fatalities in rural areas occur within 2 to 10 miles of the cities that are near it, so this speaks to that as well. These are all the collisions. I know, Mrs. McGill, you passed on your last visit here. I mean, they're all over the place.
We woke up to one this morning at the end of our road.
Yeah, there's no one corner of the county that's immune from collisions. 85 is obviously a black line there across the county. This to me is probably the map that says the most. This is a heat map. It's just density of collisions. You know, the more collisions are in a tighter area, the brighter color. So I don't know the exact map on it, but you know, green is okay if there's a density, and it goes up to red and then white. So right there in Seneca, that's probably around the Walmart hospital area right there in the county, is where the most collisions occur. And I live right there, that I completely agree with this. That's just a non-data thing. So this is really what we have, and this next map just shows where, inside that blue line is where half, if you combine all those blue lines together, that's half of all the collisions in the county. Just from those areas. So that's the focus of where collisions happen. Now, obviously, it helps happen elsewhere, and fatalities happen elsewhere, but if you're gonna get in a collision, you're 50% or more likely to get in this. So, I didn't do traffic, because traffic's very involved, be more so involved in this, and if we were gonna focus on to an area, I didn't wanna say we're gonna go to 123, I didn't wanna do highway 11 for traffic. So, once we decide on our plan of action, I can start doing traffic studies on those particular areas. That is what I have. Does anybody have any questions about the full report that I sent you? Anything, anybody have any? So I guess next question is, what do we do with this information?
Should we send this information to council and let them look at it and make a determination based on this information where they want us to actually start? If it is definitely 123, or do we need to start at another highway, given this information we have here?
You asking me?
Asking everybody. Asking everybody.
I mean, I go back to, you know, if you're asking my opinion, I mean, the most startling thing to me was the fatality map, you know, for a non-discriminatory county, that, you know, the red dots were pretty well spread evenly all throughout the county. Even though most collisions occur on 123, but, you know, again, I find myself saying, where do we start? You know, if we're gonna do something with corridors, where do we start? I still don't know where that, you know, do we start with identifying an overlay area? And then can we do that overlay area? Do we get it back into, you know, can we do the overlay? Can we not do the overlay? And if we do the overlay, you know, again, going back to 123, is it too late, you know, or are we, you know, or do we skip 123? And, you know, I normally drive 183 from Walhalla. I came in 28. I didn't know that. I kind of knew the Zaxby's was going up, but, you know, now I see Walhalla pushing towards Seneca, and Seneca portion, you know, do we concentrate on some area where we can help? And then again, going back to, you know, if we do the overlay, then are we going to start running into a lot of headwind like we did at the joint meeting, you know, where we were called Marxist and communist? So I'm at a loss what to do. Honestly, I don't know what to do.
I'm curious, there's a fatality at the intersection of 24 and 59. One, but there is also a circle there, if I understand it, that 50% of the accidents, that's in the 50% contour, saying it's a major accident area. All right, does anybody remember, Stacy, you come out that road? When did they change? You know, because that used to be a disaster where there was a merge and there was another merge, and then the garbage trucks were going everywhere and people would park on the side of the road.
It's not been long since they redid that.
Since they
right there in
redid
front of the
that.
hotspot.
But I think
Yeah.
it has had a major impact on the traffic issues there, because they put a curb in where it forces people who wanted to run into the convenience store, they now have to get off of the roadside, so that if you're coming out of the convenience store, you can actually see what's coming. They put a stop sign where there used to be a let's see if I can beat them, yield, entryway.
Mhm.
So is there a way to check to see if there's been a major change there?
I don't think we've
Would it matter?
had,
Has it not been long enough?
I don't think we've had any fatalities there since the change.
Since
There's
the
been some accidents, and I think it's mostly people that hadn't drove that area in a while, but thought they still remembered the area and have ran straight through that stop sign.
I was gonna say, they're running the stop sign just like they used to run the yield sign, pretty
Right.
much, but, yeah.
But I think it's more of that kind of thing, is they know this area, but they hadn't been in the area in a while, and they didn't know that it no longer was a yield.
If you could give me a time frame on that, as far as like how long you thought it was, I can grind through some of the data for that.
I'd say 2 years,
That's
maybe.
what I was thinking, maybe 2 years.
So I'll see what I can come up with for, let's see, you said 59?
It's the intersection of 59 and 24. Right, and there's actually 2 or 3 places where the roads come together, but there were almost no wrecks ever at one of them, which is right in front of the Crossroads Fire Department, right? Because, I mean, I don't
Yeah.
remember ever seeing a wreck there, hardly. And there was a bazillion of them over there at the little convenience store.
So the change in time in 59 and 24, see what happened there affected
If,
all.
if what they did, because it was a major traffic change, I mean, they did, that, I call that major.
Yeah.
It made a big difference in the traffic.
It went from yielding both ways coming onto 24 to, you have to stop every time you come off of 59 onto 24. Now you have to stop. Before it was yielding, so everybody was just flying, trying to merge together. And there was constant, and then
And then
people
right at
coming
the
out of
merges,
convenience
there was a,
store
let's get
and
gas.
Jim's
and
Auto
coffee.
all at the same time. You had too many outlets dumping into the same pool.
Gotcha.
And now everybody has to stop before they can get out into that road. And I think it's really helped a lot.
We can do, so some things, I'll throw some things out there what we could do with this. Yes, we could send it to council, because council did send us a letter saying, work on corridors. We can get corridors to look at. We don't necessarily have to, we're not, the only thing, we come up with a plan that's not necessarily legislation. If we, so for instance, South Carolina Department of, the Highway Patrol, they have a thing called Goal Zero. And what they do is they're trying to get the goal of fatalities down to 0. And what they do is just enhanced, like they just get a bunch of troopers out here and they start writing tickets and slowing traffic down, say, hey, stop this, stop this. Obviously, we can show them that this is an area. So we could, either you all could send that recommendation to do something like that to council, or you can, one of y'all call Troop 3 and say, hey, you have this issue. We can come up with plans that aren't necessarily legislation, because we're not gonna legislate this issue out. There's no amount of curb cuts or frontage roads that are gonna stop DUI fatalities. It's gonna be a concentrated thing of effort of education, enforcement, and kind of long-term planning, get the word out there. So we come up with a plan that doesn't necessarily have to go into our code. We can come up with a plan of action that can be utilized by council. So if we would want them to do this, we could ask Sheriff Crenshaw to come in. We have a bunch of stuff going on.
Well, and I was just, I mean, I happen to make that trip every Tuesday from Clemson to Seneca on 123, 76, whatever that highway is. And I happened to notice, that was when I spent that time driving around the last time. All right, so this last time when I was doing it, one of the things that I noticed and went back to check was that I was doing 65, which, in a confession, yes, I was speeding. But I was also one of the slowest drivers on the road. So, my next question would be, people speed down Pine Grove Road quite a bit. It is not, that's the road I live on. And it's not uncommon, I don't know how 24 is, but Pine Grove Road, they will round the little curve just before they get to our house. And they know that they have roughly 1.25 miles before the stop sign. And so it's like, yeehaw, can I do 70 before I get to the McPhail's driveway, and then continue to do 70 all the way around the curve and still stop before the stop sign? What we did was we asked the sheriff to bring out one of those blinking signs, one of those things that says you are now doing, the speed limit is, you are now doing. It was amazing to me. I mean, we heard more as people hit their brakes for the first week that was out there. Big truckers were braking. because they all thought it was one of those things that actually read your speed and sent it to the sheriff's department. All it took was about a week of passage and nobody getting a ticket, and they figured out, oh, it's just one of those blinking things that tells you how fast you're driving. But we wondered at the time what it would cost our county to purchase one of those machines that actually does record and send in the information so that you are ticketed to speed.
A speed trap camera, yeah.
Okay.
I could certainly look into that, I don't know if, I haven't involved with the state has any legislation against that or anything of that nature.
And it would be nice to compare that, because if we talk about, I mean, I know the only thing that slows me down on some days is the threat of an officer. I mean, if I know they're running a speed trap, I'm gonna be more careful, or if, in areas where I know that they tend to set them up, I will be more conscious of my speed. Is one of those machines, particularly because you can move it and then leave it there and it be a deterrent, is that less expensive than hiring 2 or 3 officers that would cover the same area?
My experience with those in Florida, strictly speaking, is generally companies have either very cheaply given them to the counties and they take a portion of the ticket,
Oh, okay.
a percentage of the ticket.
Because we were told the reason they don't have it is because it was so expensive. So maybe they don't know that.
If you look at it, there may be grants, safety grants, there may be a company out there who would love to do it. There are, I don't know how the efficacy of them, I mean, I know working your one case, or may work in your one case, you should definitely look at how effective they are.
Yeah, how effective, I mean, that's, I'm just thinking that might be, because then you could move it from area to area where you know you have an issue. It's not gonna slow people down permanently, but it's just one more tool.
I don't know.
I'm sure he's looked into it.
Chairman, if I could ask a question?
Maybe I missed this because I left early last time. Is there a shift going from the congestion issues that were the focus on 123 and the corridor planning there to traffic safety on a speeding, collision?
From what I heard from
Around.
council, they're going towards safety. That was their main concern, was the safety on the road.
Focus, actually, on 123. We've looked at, this is my first stab at this and looking at the data.
Safety and traffic flow in the future.
So did y'all talk about the numbers for that I got from the engineer?
Oh, I have not yet.
So I got them in my mind because I looked at it this morning. My focus is still on the flow, traffic flow. I thought that's what they're more concerned about. And certainly with the safety comes collisions are reduced by proper flow, whatever. In any case, I've talked to an engineer. I've got a menu of things that they can provide in their corridor planning services. This is a large company that does it a lot. I can't give you all a copy of the documents and attorney work product document. It's their proprietary information, but I can say they can provide a menu of services. And to get, I think, the goal of what y'all are looking at for 123, say for example, which would be analysis of the present condition, what can be done, mainly for working with the DOT for a traffic flow planning perspective with some, not a big focus, but some focus on land use elements and how this place is going to grow. So not only traffic now, traffic in the future, but also taking into consideration how it's going to grow. And bringing that new traffic in, they did one for a similar road for $27,000. That was about on the cheapest end. They do them up to $200,000. So I think talking to the guy, if we had a budget number, I think he could fit most that he would do within that budget number. And I think if we could, whatever, I can talk to the administrator and say, planning commission wants $25,000, or it'd be great if they could get that, because we need a professional to do this analysis. And with $25,000, we could do this, and I could show him the document that spells out what they could do. So it's kind of up to y'all if you want me to just, I think probably the first step would be for me to talk to the administrator at y'all's behest and see if, you know, that would be the way to go about doing it. He may say, well, let them just ask the council directly, or he may say, let me bring it up to the planning and economic development or transportation committees. Yeah, I just think $25,000 may be a good starting point. Y'all ask for a budget number.
So you think $25,000 would accomplish some good information?
I think that's probably on the low end, but I can't imagine at this, this budget cycle asking for any more.
Plus side of it. So the plus side of that is that the land use around there is all controlled for your district. So I look through the menu of options. They do, you know, surrounding land use elements, they do GIS data available, what's already happened. So we already have some of that information compiled. So our controlled free district is coming out helpful in that regard if we were to go with a outside consultant, because that was an option.
Well, it beats the heck out of us sitting here stabbing at it.
What do y'all think? Do we need a vote on this, or we just need to?
Yeah, I'd like the direction, so by vote, direct the county attorney to address it with the administrator, to kind of massage out a budget around the $25,000 mark and figure out where to take that request first.
Okay,
Take the motion as I just stated.
so do I have a motion?
You see how to word that.
You can just say as I just stated if you feel comfortable with what I said, as stated by the county attorney, or you can say it however you want to say it.
I'd like to make a motion that we send this document of information on safety, and you're presenting this to the county manager first, is that right?
Administrator, correct.
Okay. We've been directed by county council to look at flow and safety. We want him to review what we've come up with on safety to start with, and let him know that it will be one of our goals to identify areas that the county might be able to have an impact. Regarding flow of traffic, we aren't able to gather the information like we've been able to gather under safety, and therefore would like to ask that council budget $25,000 so that that side of what council has requested can be accomplished.
And
That makes sense?
I will second that motion.
And just to be clear, just because I'm not sure about the most smooth way, because he's working the budget right now and he's deep into it, I think going to him with the request on how is the best way to take this to council is probably the best idea to bring it up at the right time. Is that what you're saying? To the
Yes.
budget, for the number, for the amount to,
And I want to say that we are trying to work with, and we've gotten kind of half of the project we've started on, that we may can set some goals around, but the other part of the equation, we're not able to accomplish by ourselves.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor, say aye. Okay,
Oh, I've got a further question on the collision data contours. Could you explain the 50% contour and the 90% contour?
So I was talking to, with our GIS and the data, so it should say 50 and 40% contour, not 90% contour. So it's 90 altogether, there's
Okay.
a typo right there, the red line is actually 40% of all the traffic accidents.
Okay, that makes a little more sense.
I owe someone $1, like, no one's gonna talk to you.
okay, our next one is our goals element.
I was asked if, you all asked to bring this back to check it out and give some feedback on what you think we should take it out or edited or otherwise change on it.
And this is with regard to our goals as they stood moving forward for 2018, is that correct?
No, so that's the next order, the actual, this goals element for the review, for the the review of the comp plan, the actual element itself was, I believe Mr. Disker, Mrs. McPhail had took some issue with some of the items on there that shouldn't be there. I think the capital projects plan was something that was, you had all mentioned, and you wanted to kind of bring it back and do something with that, maybe remove it, do something. Or maybe any other items that you thought, maybe the goal elements, just for the review part that need to be changed?
Silent, I mean,
Yeah, and this is the one that's sitting wherever it is with my notes on it.
Page 8, I believe, is the capital projects plan.
Yeah.
Of this is goals 8 of 23. That's where the capital projects plan was. I believe there was some discussion about that last time. We lost it, bring it back. But we were happy to leave that as it is.
I think the question on that is that committee was disbanded, so do we leave this, for the review process, whether we leave it in or take it out, not a big deal. It's just if we don't have a capital project committee, then to me, it probably shouldn't be on there, but we can tackle that,
From,
later.
from a historic perspective, do we not need to, though, show that it was a goal that was not accomplished? So that we at least have it in our records, that it talks about it? That we didn't do it, or we disbanded it, or there really wasn't interest in carrying it on, but at least it was brought up as a goal at one time, so we don't stick it as a goal at some point in the future, if there wasn't a concern for it in the past.
That's certainly a possibility for us to do that. That's what you want.
In this particular one, it just says to maintain a capital projects plan. It doesn't say anything about having a committee or anything. We always have to have a capital projects plan on, or at least the county. I don't know how relevant we are in that, but the county, the council always has a capital projects plan. They don't have the committee anymore, but they do plan for capital projects for any individual year that they're there. So whether it needs to be in comprehensive plan or not, I don't know, but the council is doing this, it's ongoing all the time.
My notion, Mr. Chairman, if I could, my notion, I think at this stage, on the review stage, this is not applicable just to that, but is leave the items in there and just update it, which y'all have done. Whether or not this is something that's completely moot and just is gone, but at least noting that it, was there, was a goal at one point, and didn't do anything with it, or it was irrelevant, shouldn't have been there. Just whatever, just so it is a historical tracer up to the point in time where all right, the review's done now. The next time you're gonna have a new set of goals. And if you, review stage to leave those goals all present and just update it with whatever annotation you need to have on there in the time.
So just leave it, and then when we do the update, we can change it out at that point.
That's what I think. Fair, just thinking of the nature of a review.
So I don't know that we need to do
If we don't need to do anything with it, then just indicate that it is, because it says plan, it doesn't say committee, so, yeah, that's, I would just leave it as ongoing, but I would take the planning commission off of the agency's response. I mean, that's their list, right?
I think it needs to be, the planning commission needs to be off of it, just leave it to county council, because that's their list and not ours. Do y'all wanna let, say something? Okay.
No, I'm thinking have to do. They're required by the state. Through the capital project, every year, that's a permanent period.
The commission is?
Yeah. That's a state law.
Well, then perhaps we need to receive that direction from county council. And that would mean that we would need to receive that list of capital projects from county council.
Can I explain why this issue came up?
Y'all have any objections?
Please do.
Make it as brief as possible, please.
The reason this is an issue is because in your comprehensive plan, you have a copy of the duties that is spelled out from the state. It had been amended and it added the part about the committee that the council created. But then they did away with it, and therefore I was saying, my notes were that needs to be removed because that particular little part that was in a parentheses doesn't apply anymore. But the planning commission still is required by state law to go through to make recommendations on the capital plan every year, no matter what. So,
And where do we get the capital plan from the council?
no, it's your duty to make recommendations to the council on capital projects, period.
So we'll leave it where it's at for the,
I can find that for you all, that speaks to what Mr. Marcus just find that for you all.
okay, that'd be good. All right, so do I have a motion? Do we need a motion now at this point to, or is any other discussion about what's in here?
Well, I mean, I have partnered with municipalities in inventorying current condition in of their water infrastructure systems to determine ability to accommodate future growth. It clearly says not a county-initiated project. Does the county have any authority? When it says do something with the municipality, the county has no authority there, right? Dave?
We could try, there's an attempt there, but there's no authority.
I mean, I know that they're having some I'm not even sure the meetings are still going on within the thing, so do we need something in our comprehensive plan that we have no jurisdiction over, or?
Well, for instance, on page 5 of 20, the very top item, under federal forest, Oregon State Federal Agency to establish comprehensive network of water monitoring stations. That's what SCD.
Yeah, it does.
That's why I crossed that out. I mean, I guess we'll leave it there for future, but we'll leave the note in there that it's DHEC secure. So now we can do it, and go about doing it, but if somebody's already doing it, unless we have some sort of impetus, like Greenville may choose to do it because they have a waterfall in the center of the town, and they want extra monitoring, but so something like that is definitely outside of our, the 1710, the very next thing, that was during the long period of drought. That's something we can still do to come up with that. That's a 1710 is a water quality rating that we can come up with. But these are things that if you all want to, you can, and if not, you know.
On page 2, is that not an ongoing thing that the county actually does at certain times when, well, they did something similar to that when they opened the industrial park over here? On page 2, the center, number 2 there, goal number 1. It says it out here, the time frame. It says not a county-initiated project, but they actually do that from time to time as partner with the cities to get water, sewer, whatever, out to certain areas that they are potentially gonna have something there, a business, or just take the industrial part. They had to technically partner with Walhalla to get them to get the water out to that industrial part. So.
That, and certainly, that was definitely partnering with, Walhalla, so that would be number 1, for facilitating the establishment of partnership with the water provider, if the city. The second one is inventorying their infrastructure, which I imagine could be.
That's the one, I just have a problem with that we, we don't address their stuff, I thought. I can see if, I don't know. Do we have an infrastructure advisory commission? So how is it responsible if it doesn't exist? Yeah.
Speaking back to Mr. Johnson and Mr. Disker's point, it would be as historical markers.
As historical markers, okay.
And we don't have to act upon them, or if we choose to, leaving it doesn't hurt, because, what's the worst, though we have part of a municipality, so leaving them there at this point in time doesn't hurt too much.
Okay.
So there's that.
Should we take things out, it says complete?
So completed, I think once
No,
again, that
that's-
speaks to
Yeah.
the historical thing, so we don't go about it. And it does kind of feel a little sense of completion there, like, hey, we got something done.
We would take it out in the new one, right?
Yes.
Yes, we would take it out in the new one, yes. Okay, this is just the review.
I think the review, I think we're good with the document as it stands. Unless there was an item that we missed that was completed and we didn't take credit for it being completed, I'm good with everything.
I'm with you on that one. Yeah, unfortunately, the
Yeah,
ongoing
I think
ones
it's
are.
good. I think it's good. I did take some notes, but I think they were more to do with,
The goals.
well, more to do with the new one,
That's me, yep.
changing and taking out and adding than what's here.
Because I'm a big fan of keeping the historical marker part.
I'm good.
All right, so we're okay with this as it stands now? Okay,
If we're okay, do we send it on to council? Is that?
well, this will just go,
We saw the compile
About-
first,
okay.
so I'll give the priority investment element, next meeting, and then the meeting after that, I'll bring you a whole
a cleaned up version.
number.
Okay, now, number 10, discuss the prioritization of planning commission goals for 2018. What do we want to accomplish for this year, other than the comprehensive plan? Yes,
If I may, just to go back to, item,
9.
if it's possible, if I get everything cleaned up in the previous elements, get all the fonts and any spelling errors taken out, I was just asking for Mr. Root, is that I could bring you the other elements done, I agree the priority investment element for you all to review, we can combine them, and at that point you could,
Absolutely.
That would be, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yes.
so I only have 4 days to work on that, but I'll get all my updates before I get, we're a little bit ahead of time now. So before I get stuff out, backup material out, I should be able to compile the comp plan in finished format for you all. So sorry for that.
That's, so, what is it y'all want to accomplish, or the planning commission accomplish, the goals and things for this 2018?
The comprehensive plan needs to be done. The review, not dragged out 3.5 years.
You mean the update or the review?
The update, yeah, the update. The review hopefully will be done next week, within the next 2 or 3 meetings, and then start on the update and have it done by December, the last meeting in December of 2018. Crack the whip.
That one, I like that as a goal. It's a great goal. It's a motivating goal.
It's lofty.
It's a lofty goal. Hey, go big, go home, right?
Yes,
Here we go.
So does anyone have any goals that we can set up for this year, other than the comp plan? Because we all know that needs to be done as soon as possible, because we're just slightly behind on it anyway.
Ridiculous.
I'm sitting back and observing at the moment.
We do have what the county likes to call workforce housing problem in this county. And for some reason I can't find it here, in the goals, but, it's something that we could possibly work on this year, to maybe come up with some ideas and maybe get with the council and, economic development, Oconee Alliance, and, the administrator, and maybe come up with some ideas of how to get some developers to develop some property, whether it be county-owned property or their own, or individuals' property, to get some workforce housing that the people can afford, and actually, instead of this $1,000 a month, $1,200, $1,500 a month, people, I mean, they have to have a great job to afford to pay rent, plus their light bill, plus their water bill, plus go buy groceries. They, a lot of them, our companies around here are not, they're paying good money, but they're not paying money that, where a lot of people can afford housing like that. I mean, even the ones buying a home are not paying those kind of, prices. I mean, well, take the apartment there next to the highway department, they're $1,000 a month. I mean, I know people buying houses, they pay about $500, $600, $700 a month. Well, I mean, someone's paying $800, but if you're living in Kiwi Key, it might be $2,500, but we've got to get something here to where these people can actually work and not spend all their money on their housing or their, you know, where they can have, get out and do things. They can spend money somewhere else. The economy's not gonna get any better if they spend it all on housing, you know, so,
Watch it there.
I'm not talking about building, I'm just talking about paying rent.
So we're discussing goals that we might want to be throwing out there to be looking at for the future, is that right? So one, we have talked about this transportation and transit. I think that we do need to make that somewhat of a goal, because I think that as a planning commission and looking to the future, traffic is going to sneak up on us, and it's going to be too late, whatever that might mean. So I think that transit, whether it's transit going to Clemson for students, maybe we do something for students to try to get some of that weight off of the road. Maybe it's a bike path or something like that takes some of the weight off, whether it's down in the Shiloh area or something that helps take some of that traffic off. I also think that we need to, as a goal, still work on corridor enhancement, corridor work, whether that enhancement is in aesthetics or whether that enhancement is in traffic pattern. I don't know that we can control 123 anymore, but we have a shot at Walhalla. We have a shot at anywhere where there's potentially sewer line that allows big businesses to come in, to start thinking about and planning ahead for what's that traffic going to continue looking like. I would like to see us, if it's possible, for our county to work with the cities. I think the cities are making a strong attempt at revitalization. Walhalla's done a streetscape. Seneca does Jazz on the Alley. Both still struggle at trying to get development into those businesses and buildings, which, if they're there, are going to help all of our citizens with an enjoyment factor and quality of life. And I think if there's anything that the county can do to assist those cities, we should be trying to do it, because it's the residents of the county that actually are going to be enjoying those things. And lastly, I don't know that it's huge, and I'd maybe like to ask Ms. McPhail if it is something that's big, but some sort of farmland protections, farming protections. As our area grows, obviously we're going to be growing into our farms. And when we talk about the natural resources of our areas, those are part of our natural resource, is our big areas of land. So, and I don't know, maybe that's a lofty goal, maybe that's not even the responsibility of this department, but some kind of protections there, whatever those might be. Those are my thoughts as far as future goals.
And I would certainly support that. I have been sitting here thinking, you know, I would love to see something finished in the way of some corridor work, whether it's traffic safety only or traffic safety / aesthetic flow planning that makes it, and I mean, I don't guess it'll ever be enjoyable to drive down 123, but if it was at least something that I did not despise to the point that I would consider changing part of our business plan in order to avoid it. That's, I think that we need to finish that. We need to finish these traffic questions. And it, maybe not finish them, but at least certainly make some significant progress on wrapping our head around how to do it and getting something going. And of course, I'm not going to argue. The revitalization, if the county can do something to help cities help themselves to get out of this derelict building, hangout places, whatever it is that is damaging so much of our downtown areas, I think certainly the county can do that. And I feel like if we provide those places in town, I've literally been in 2 meetings today, and in both of those meetings, that was a major topic. The fact that the downtown areas need to revitalize. They need a place where they need businesses where people can live and walk to those businesses so that traffic is not an issue, so that it's safe and enjoyable to do those things, that there's green space for children to play and enjoy being outside. And that alone then would also help with some of your farmland protection, because if the cities were enjoyable, safe, beautiful places to live, they would not, perhaps as many people would want to move out into the suburbs and cover up farmland with parking spaces. So I'd certainly agree with every single one of those as a goal.
I just don't know how much we can do, because what's holding a lot of the cities back is their taxes. People they can't afford to pay the taxes in the cities, and there's not a darn thing we can do about that. So I don't see how we draw people into the cities when they can't afford to live there. The cities has got to fix their tax problems before we can draw people to them.
Well, I know Seneca has a revitalization.
And I don't think I'm talking about the living there as much as I am Walhalla spent however much they spent on building a new streetscape so that they could perhaps get some of that revenue that's going up towards Highlands. Whatever it takes to help support that idea. Same way with Seneca. Seneca's spending big bucks on their Jazz on the Alley to get people into the town to see that there are shops down there. Problem is that there's still a lot of the downtown that doesn't have shops in it. And I don't know that we can do anything as a county, but if we could, I think we should, because it then attracts more restaurants, which is something that everyone in the county then gets to go enjoy, whether that's shops, whether that's restaurants, whatever it might be. Those downtowns thriving definitely helps the residents of the county. And that was kind of what I was talking about. Not that, you're correct, taxes are their deal, and that's for city living, but there's only so much space for that city living unless they start growing up. But there is the opportunity to improve or assist possibly in their objectives of trying to get those downtowns areas
but
revitalized.
The businesses in the downtowns can't afford to be there because of the taxes are high, the rent is high, the power's high. I mean, we can't draw businesses to a place they can't afford.
So if there is something that's an incentivization that the county can make to assist in some form or fashion, you come and invest in here, we're going to assist you in this way from a county level, if at all possible. If traffic goes down there, it really doesn't matter what the cost is if we can get the traffic then down there. They just can't sustain themselves long enough because of what you're saying. They get in there, they can't make it on their own, they leave, so it takes a while for people to recognize that, oh, there's this place downtown. I just think that we compare our rents to a Greenville. Greenville is able to support it because the people are already there. I think as a county, we have to support that attempt so that to give it time for people to get there. That was just my thought. But you're right, the rents are, but we can't do anything about We can't do anything about the landlords, the owners, and I don't know that we can do anything about them.
Punitive taxation towards businesses. Well, there's not significant businesses in town, they've all moved.
So maybe as a county, we make some observation or recommendation to that city side. Whatever we can do, I think that helps our citizens of the county.
If the same business can go right outside of the city limits and pay half of what they're gonna pay downtown because they don't have the city taxes and all that, they're gonna go outside of the city. So the cities have got to figure out a way to draw businesses into the city instead of them setting up right on the outside of the city, because that's where they're setting up. That's the reason we're growing from Walhalla into Seneca and vice versa, because they're trying to stay out of the city limits because it's cheaper.
So maybe we go to the city and say, either you do it or we will. We will take them outside the city limits and create something new. In any regard, I think it's to the benefit of our county residents, of all the residents, to be able to enjoy the infrastructure that what we're talking about brings.
It could be something worth looking into, and just to see where the county could help and assist them. Not that we could do anything, like you said, we can't do anything about their tax, but we can do something about county tax. We can give them a fee in lieu of, if the business comes in, we can do a fee in lieu. Even though they're in the city, they're still gonna pay county tax. So we could work out things with a business to go into the town on the county side of the tax money, which will cut a lot of their stuff. But we can't do anything about the power bill in, like Westminster. We can only ask Westminster to help out, when we can't demand it, but.
Can Richard help us with this?
And I'm not suggesting that we create a solution tonight. I'm saying that as a lofty goal, I would like to put it out there on the table for discussion at some meeting in 2018.
Mr. Chairman, I think what Mr. McPhail was saying is right on point, that our economic alliance is very active. Mr. Blackwell does a great job, and part of that, they're involved with the chamber, and he knows everything that's going on in the county, what businesses are looking to go where, and what impediments there are to that. And if there's some way for the planning commission to come alongside that to help, then I'm sure he would invite that. So maybe at some point we get him just to come in and talk to you all and say, hey, this is what we got going on. This is perhaps how y'all could help, or we don't need y'all's help, because we got to cover y'all folks on something else. Maybe.
Yeah.
I think that would be great.
Could we
So he could tell us like what is holding up the growths of our cities.
Yeah, I mean,
And then we could figure out, is that something we can address, or we don't even need to waste our time?
Is that something y'all wanna do soon? We can maybe schedule a time with Mr. Blackwell and to come to one of our meetings.
I think we should outline our goals first, and then wherever it falls in the mix.
Okay.
I'm not suggesting that it be the first priority.
Brad, you have anything for goals?
I mean, our goals, I mean, broadly are in the comprehensive plan, and, if we follow the comprehensive plan, we're achieving our goals, but, I mean, we're asking the county for 25 grand. If we do get that money and a study is developed, we need to act on that. So in the future, if we ask for money, we can get it, so, but, we've been charged to work on corridors, and again, and this is not the meeting to do it, but we have got to get some kind of framework, a flow chart of what that means. And we still haven't defined what working on corridors means.
Okay, yeah, we have.
As far as, people shopping, living, that's all developer driven. I don't know what we as planning commission can, other than make it easier for, companies to come in and say, I want to develop something, and make it easier for them. I don't know what we could do. And, but we can't mandate companies to come in and build affordable housing. There's gotta be a market for it. There's gotta be land for it, and there's gotta be, market and land, I guess. If there's a market, and there's land, somebody's gonna realize it and invest in it and make money on it. So we can't legislate.
Well, one of
You
our,
know.
one of our goals is to create a housing task force, nonprofit housing agency or trust, which would analyze regulatory barriers and seek market-based incentives to promote affordable housing. So one of our goals is to come up with ways, this task force, and them to come up with things, incentives to incentivize these developers to come in and help out. We do have a problem. I've heard it from several businesses that we do not have workforce housing for them. And they're not getting the employees because they can't afford to live in these apartments and things that we have in the county at the time. That's why I brought it up. Andy?
I think, to start with, we got plenty of county business on our plate. We don't need to get in the city's business. We get all ours done, then we can look at the city. Which I'm not happy with some things about the various cities in the county, but it's not what this body's for. I mean, we're being encouraged to look at highway safety and flow in the future. That's something that does concern me. Solid waste. We don't really have a very satisfactory system about solid waste right now. We got something that's working, something that's expensive and exporting our garbage, but I think we should do some planning with regard to that. I guess that's on the comprehensive plan someplace. I mean, that's what the kind of issue I think we ought to be looking at.
Okay.
I think if we tackle the comprehensive plan, start doing the review, update, we can address those situations as they come up through the comprehensive plan. Okay, this is something that we need to address, or no, we don't need that anymore. Instead of making a huge long list and we're trying to do the comprehensive plan and doing this new list of goals, I think we should start with the comprehensive plan, and as something comes up in the comprehensive plan as a goal, maybe we may have to shift that and say, okay, that does need to be a priority right now. I think we have so much on our plate just with it that we don't need a new list of goals for the year. We need to focus on the comprehensive plan, and if there's something in it that we see as a priority, then we pull it to the top of the list.
Sounds good to me.
I think that sounds wonderful. So our number one goal is comprehensive plan.
Our number one goal needs to be the comprehensive plan.
Okay. Yeah.
And then all the, I mean, really, if you look at
They'll
the,
see something that-
2015.
Yeah,
So-
is in the
They'll
comprehensive
just see
plan,
something
right.
that's urgent, they'll send it to us.
True, yeah.
and all the other things that were under that list are in the comprehensive plan. And just
Exactly.
like you said,
Right.
if we address them as they come up in the comprehensive plan, we will have done all the other goals that we've talked about.
Okay, we don't have any other discussion. We're just making comprehensive plan our number one goal and work from there to get it done. Unless we're directed otherwise by council. All right, we have any old business? Any new business?
Yeah, I saw an article it's a little bit off topic, but saw an article in a paper in the Seneca Journal this past week, about the major steps in recycling. And that was brought to the attention, by the late Bozo Richards, probably 3 or 4 years ago. And I think Wayne McCall had a little bit to do with it too. But it does prove that one person can make a difference, and I'd just like to recognize that Bozo pushed for a recycling effort, and it looks like it's paying off. So,
Good.
just want to recognize that, so.
All right, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?
Excellent.
Don't ever seem to be any nays
So-
on that.
Y'all's aspect.
That's the only one that we get.
That's
We're
when
getting
always
discussion.
unanimous.
No discussion, no nothing, it's, yep, we gone.
Yeah, we are wanting to do more of a homestead farm, and do some permaculture, between fruit trees and things like that.